What was I saying the last hour? Focus on the platform, the message, getting it done, and winning. And I already got some message people saying, "Oh, but why are you?" Well, that's actually what Trump has now decided in the last hour he's going to start doing today. I don't know if he's listening to the show, but we have some policy stuff to discuss now. What I asked for, I said, "Hey, maybe Trump should do some policy things today." And guess what he just did? Put out some policy. So see, we're coaching our side as best we can here. Here is Trump announcing his free speech platform for 2024, executive orders that he will sign. He just put out this video on Truth Social. Play 27.
Within hours of my inauguration, I will sign an executive order banning any federal department or agency from colluding with any organization, business, or person to censor, limit, categorize, or impede the lawful speech of American citizens. I will then ban federal money from being used to label domestic speech as mis- or disinformation. And I will begin the process of identifying and firing every federal bureaucrat who has engaged in domestic censorship, directly or indirectly, whether they are the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Health, Human Services, the FBI, the DOJ, no matter who they are. Second, I will order the Department of Justice to investigate all parties involved in the new online censorship regime, which is absolutely destructive and terrible, and to aggressively prosecute any and all crimes identified.
I think, Clay, this is Trump recognizing that without free speech, you can't have free elections. Absent true, meaningful free speech, we don't live in a free society.
The biggest threat to democracy is not what a relative handful of people did on January 6th. It's what big tech, big media, and their Democrat allies did to censor debate in our country. Here's my issue. He's 100% right on all this. Buck, who's advising Trump? Most people are not going to see what we just played you today. Trump put out a 6 or 7 minute statement nailing this issue of First Amendment restriction of the unholy alliance between big tech, big media, and the Democrat Party. He did it on the same exact day within a couple of hours of releasing these superhero NFTs. So your point, I think, was an astute one in the first hour. The media cycle is all going to be focused on the relative paucity of seriousness of these NFTs, right? Whatever you think about them. And they're going to miss this, the steak, right? The sizzle gets the attention instead of the steak. Now, here's the thing. What Trump did so well in 2016, and a lot of times very well in 2022, Buck, 2020 as well, was he was able to give something substantive, like this First Amendment policy, but he also had some sizzle on top of it to draw in everybody to pay attention to what he was doing. That showmanship element. Here, he's diluting his policy perspective on the First Amendment, which is 100% right, with the sizzle that has nothing to do with it, which is him standing around in these artificial NFTs, basically, how would you even describe this? Like photoshopped imagery that they're selling for $99. Why release these things on the same day, in other words? It just seems like a huge mess.
So I will just say this. We were talking last hour about who's advising him right now, and I would take this as a moment to show you and I come on here and we say we're Trump voters who like the guy and think that he's done amazing things for the country and think that he was a very good president. But dropping these NFTs and saying it's a big announcement was not a strategically sound move. Okay, it's just not.
Correct.
So people can get mad and say, "Oh, but why are you playing into their hands?" Because an hour later, he does exactly what we're saying Trump should be focused on. That is an admission from inside the Trump camp. Oh, okay, we shouldn't have done the NFT thing today. We should have done the speech executive orders thing today. That is why they are doing this. So I just want everyone to be clear, we can all sort of sit around and look at everything that Trump does in this process of winning the Republican nomination and just say all of it is great. Or we can say, hold on a second. Trump's got great things to say on free speech. Let's get him on that issue. NFTs another day. This is just, I think, being fair-minded about what we're seeing unfold in this campaign.
Also, Buck, it may be indicative of two different divergent groups advising him. And let me explain what I mean by this. Commerce, a.k.a., hey, let's make money, is certainly a big part of Trump. I get it. I'm a business person, too, much less successful than Trump. But I get the entrepreneurial aspects. I get the goal to continue to be able to build businesses that matter. That may be one side of the conversation that's going on, and that's the NFT. That's like, let's put out these Trump NFTs, non-fungible tokens, basically baseball card-like digital events. And then on the other side, you have the policy team, and they're saying, hey, now is the time for you to put out your First Amendment policies and what you will do if you are in office. They may not be talking to each other. And so you end up canceling each other out because on the same day, you're putting out two contradictory messages. One is commerce, let's have fun, haha, look at Trump dressed up like a superhero. The other one is very concrete First Amendment. And what I'm saying is the best of Trump is when the sizzle meets the steak. Here we have the sizzle colliding with the steak. Nobody's going to notice this First Amendment discussion. It's going to get almost no attention in the mainstream press. And everybody's going to ridicule him over the NFT. We will.
We're trying to give it some attention right now because I think it needs.
Media is not covering it.
Oh, no, of course. But I'm saying, so this is why I think it's incumbent upon us. So here he is again from the statement that Trump just put out in the last hour on, right now, Twitter, as we all know, this is massively important. Want to talk about winning elections? Having a free speech platform, a social media platform that allows for issues, ideas, Remember, candidates were being shadow banned, my friends. Candidates for office were being surreptitiously blacklisted, essentially. It was almost like a covert action program against some of these candidates. Of course, they're all Republicans. This stuff really matters. Here's Trump saying, again, just released in the last hour, that you should need a court order to take down some of this online content that's been shadow banned. Play 28.
The time has finally come for Congress to pass a digital Bill of Rights. This should include a right to digital due process. In other words, government officials should need a court order to take down online content, not send information requests such as the FBI was sending to Twitter. Furthermore, when users of big online platforms have their content or accounts removed, throttled, shadow banned, or otherwise restricted, no matter what name they use, they should have the right to be informed that it's happening, the right to a specific explanation of the reason why, and the right to a timely appeal. In addition, all users over the age of 18 should have the right to opt out of content moderation and curation entirely and receive an unmanipulated stream of information if they so choose. The fight for free speech is a matter of victory or death for America and for the survival of Western civilization itself. When I am president, this whole rotten system of censorship and information control will be ripped out of the system at large. There won't be anything left. By restoring free speech, we'll begin to reclaim our democracy and save our nation.
There we
go. He's 100% right, Buck.
Yep.
He's 100% right, and this should be the story of the day, not him standing in ridiculous outfits that he's selling.
Right. Well, I just want to sense, why isn't, because I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't think that there are people advising Trump that listen to the show, because you and I both know there are. Every week from now until it's official that, he's the Republican nominee or at some date in the future, there should at least be one Trump video 5 minutes long where he's just like, these are the key issues. This is what I see going on, and really get into it. Really provide that context and, do it on Truth Social if you're not going to do it on Twitter, but show people the seriousness and the dedication to not just winning, which is obviously critical, but to fixing the country again. What was it all about in 2016? Fixing the problems and speaking for the forgotten men and women of America. Get back to that, and this thing is going to, the rocket ship starts to take off when that happens.
Yeah, it's about discipline and about planning. I mean, he's 100% right on all of this. You guys are hearing it because we're going to share it with you. None of the media that needs to hear this, none of the independent voters that need to hear this, none of the squishy Trump Republicans that need to hear this, by and large, are going to ever know that he put this out, because right now the number one trending topic is the NFTs, these kind of silly digital photos of Trump. And by the way, his announcement has a good sense of humor. It's clearly designed to be fun and funny, and he gets it. But why would you conflate these two things, the serious and the funny, almost simultaneously at the exact same time? This thing breathing on its own, Trump really kind of laying out a policy that he's 100% right on as it pertains to digital freedom and the ability of people to share their opinions and not be banned for them. And what's the number one thing that I've said I'd like to see from Elon Musk? I think that every time the government, Buck, makes a request to censor an account or to pull down what someone has said online, that should be public. Some of it's justified. Some of it's true. But we should know as citizens, what is the United States government attempting to keep us from seeing? Because I think that will mean that there are far fewer censorship requests. Trump's right about this. It's going to get drowned out by all this craziness associated with the NFTs.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I'd like to see the people in this Biden White House own their mistakes. Even this week, they wouldn't do it with the news on inflation. They make a big deal that inflation's gone down from 7.7 to 7.1%, not acknowledging that it was 7.1 last November or 1.2 the year before that.